Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday with me, Meoni, the weekly series looking at how to get the best scores possible inside the Gold Saucer on the Fashion Report minigame every Friday. This is actually week 71 and this time around the theme is Cool Breeze, which is something I could do with more on these hot days. Featuring the clues Under Armour for chest, Iron Fist for hands, Reborn for legs, and Coiled finally for earrings. In this video I will have a 100 score, an 80 score with dies, and the easiest 80 possible. Firstly, the 100. For 100 score I went with the Hempen Camise. This is purchasable in Uldar Steppes of Nold from the NPC Rorik. Choose any race on the vendor tab that you want, and then you can buy the Hempen Camise for 59 gil. You can also alternatively go for the hempen undershirt from the same vendor, but there's literally no difference apart from aesthetics. For the hands, I went with the Emperor's New Gloves. You can actually buy these in Mordona, at Revenant's Toll, at the NPC Tartaroga for 66 gil, but obviously that's unlocked via request, so if you would rather, other items at work include the Punching Gloves, which is a leatherworker craft, Pagos Field Dressing from the Pagos Lockboxes from Eureka Pagos, the Arachne Field Dressing of Striking, and I believe the Arachne Field Dressing of Scouting will work for gold as well. For the legs, I went with the sexy White Mage level 45 artifact pants. You can basically use any leg slot for any job in the game from the level 45 job quest for that job that the quest rewards you with. If you manage to lose your pants along the way on your travels, you can buy them back from the job related gear tab on the Calamity Salvager NPCs in all three starting major city-states like this one, located inside the Aft Castle on Limsa Liminsa's upper decks. And finally, the earring this week needs to be any job's earring from the final coil of Bahamut. Grab yourself a friend, unsync it, and blow up one of the first 3 bosses of the final coil, which all have a chance to drop the earring. Turn 4 doesn't actually give you an earring as a possible drop, it's just all main pieces of gear and weapons. Personally, I would choose Final Coil 1, it's much easier to do with 2 people, but the RNG on the drop can be a pain in the arse, so just stick with it. Okay, so that was a fairly easy 100 score, apart from obviously Coil of Bahamut, which requires more than one person unless you're pretty good at the game at soloing. And here's an 80 with only dies on any dieable gear in the game this week. So all slots are filled, remember, or this won't work. Any weapon in the game that's dieable needs to be dyed snow white, your helm needs to be jet black, your chest rose pink, your hands and legs need to be dyed jet black, and your feet cobalt brown. So that's pretty useless then, considering the cost of some of these dyes. I'm not sure really why you would go out of your way to use 3 jet black dyes, so let's move on past that. And here's a very, very simple 80 score this week if that's all you want, you just want your MGP for the week. Literally fill every gear slot with anything you want, and then equip the vendor purchased from earlier Hempen Camise or the Hempen Undershirt, and the Emperor's New Gloves in that hand slot. These 2 items alone, completely undyed, will get you an 80 score minimum. You will get 80 score minimum as long as every slot is filled and you choose these 2 items. It really couldn't be any easier unless I physically came through your monitor and gave you the MGP in person, which of course would have to be a stretch goal on Patreon. A link to the theory thread for this week will be in the description as usual. Feel free to share your own solutions in the comments below, and make sure that you make use of the free company or personal MGP buffs and make the most of that sweet make it rain MGP this week. 80,000 MGP and then 16,000? I mean, that's a bit good, isn't it? Thank you all kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time.